Welcome back to Celebrity Scoop, where we tell it like it is. Today we're digging into the royal debacle that's got everyone talking, Princess Catherine's Mother Nature series. Picture this, a princess, the untouched Scottish Highlands, and a message that's about as authentic as a £3 note. But wait, there's more. This isn't just any royal stunt, it's an attempt to rebrand that falls flat on its face. Buckle up, because we're about to strip down the royal veneer. Let's dive into the heart of the matter. It's an unfortunate spectacle we're witnessing, the unoriginality of Princess Catherine's Mother Nature series. It's a weak echo of Meghan Markle's meaningful initiatives, a poorly executed imitation game that has left many of us shaking our heads. Let's be brutally honest here. This isn't originality, it's mimicry, and not of the flattering kind. Meghan Markle has been a steadfast champion of environmental storytelling, wellness, and advocacy long before it was a royal trend. She's lent her voice to impactful documentaries and spearheaded campaigns that have brought about real change. Then we have Kate, parading around the verdant expanses of the Scottish Highlands, wrapped in designer coats and delivering lines that make it seem like she's just discovered the concept of nature. It's a cringe-inducing spectacle, to say the least. Meghan's endeavours come from a place of genuine connection and purpose, while Kate's efforts seem to be doused in an unmissable sheen of palace polish and privilege. The difference couldn't be more glaring. Even Ingrid Seward, a known royal sympathiser, couldn't fully defend this debacle. She labelled it as a little naive, which, if you ask us, is an understatement. While Kate frolics in the untouched Scottish wilderness, millions of families in urban jungles like Peckham grapple with pollution, housing insecurity, and the stress of battling the cost of living crisis. And we're supposed to find this video relatable? It's almost comical. The online backlash was swift and brutal. The public didn't hold back, labelling it as tone-deaf, elitist, and out of touch. Some went as far as calling it royal cosplay. As one viewer astutely pointed out, it's easy to love nature when you own half the country. This entire production is a stark testament to royal hypocrisy. The palace seems to love championing mental health, nature, and the environment, but only when it's neatly packaged in a polished PR campaign with no real-world impact. The difference couldn't be more obvious, and the public noticed. So what did the public think of this royal charade? Well, let's dive into the sea of online reactions, shall we? There was no shortage of critical comments and backlash, as the internet had its say on the royal spectacle. The general consensus: this so-called Mother Nature series was a far cry from the grounded, relatable content they were hoping for. Instead, the public saw it for what it was, a tone-deaf display of privilege, attempting to masquerade as genuine concern for the environment. Comments ranged from pointed to downright brutal. One viewer, clearly unimpressed, quipped, "It's easy to love nature when you own half the country." A scathing review indeed, but one that encapsulates the sentiment of many. This attempt to appear in touch with the common man fell flat, and the public was quick to point out the glaring disconnect. Another comment highlighted the hypocrisy of the situation, asking, where was all this energy when Meghan was being torn apart by the same media machine? It's a valid question, and one that was echoed across various online platforms. The double standards were not lost on the public, and they didn't hesitate to call out the royal family's inconsistent behaviour. The words elitist, out of touch, and royal cosplay were thrown around liberally, painting a clear picture of the public's perception. It was seen as a weak attempt to imitate Meghan Markle's genuine advocacy, and the lack of authenticity was glaringly obvious. Perhaps the most telling reaction was the lack of defence from Ingrid Seward, a known royal sympathiser. Even she struggled to put a positive spin on the series, calling it a little naive. If a staunch supporter finds it hard to defend, then it's safe to say that the public isn't buying into the royal PR machine. So there you have it. The public isn't fooled by this royal imitation. They see it for what it is, a hollow attempt to appear relatable and in touch, while remaining blissfully ignorant of the struggles of the average person. Clearly, the public isn't fooled by this royal imitation. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room: royal hypocrisy. It's a term we've grown quite familiar with, isn't it? The double standards, the glaring inconsistency in treatment, it's all too apparent. And this latest stunt is just another testament to the royal family's hypocrisy. Let's cast our minds back to when Meghan Markle, a woman of substance and purpose, tried to use her platform to advocate for the same issues. She was vilified, ridiculed, and ultimately driven to step back from royal duties. The same media that tore her apart is now applauding Princess Catherine's watered-down version of environmental advocacy. It's a glaring example of the royal family's double standards. The palace's attempt to rebrand Princess Catherine in Meghan Markle's mould is nothing short of desperate. They're trying to portray her as modern, relatable, and purposeful. But the reality is, they're failing miserably. You see, authenticity isn't something that can be manufactured or replicated. It's a genuine connection to the cause, a heartfelt commitment to making a difference. And that's something Meghan Markle had in abundance. On the other hand, Princess Catherine's Mother Nature series comes across as disconnected and staged, a privileged woman wandering around her vast estates waxing poetic about the beauty of nature, while millions of Brits struggle to make ends meet. It's far from inspiring. It's insulting. This isn't about being in touch with nature or advocating for the environment. It's about maintaining an image, about seeming relevant in a world that is rapidly outgrowing the need for royal figureheads. The royal family's focus on appearance over substance is doing them no favours. The palace seems to believe that they can simply dress up Princess Catherine in Meghan's mould and the public will buy it, but they're sorely mistaken. The public can see through the facade. They can recognise the difference between genuine advocacy and staged PR stunts. In all honesty, this entire episode is a stark reflection of the royal family's hypocrisy. They love to talk about issues like mental health and the environment, but only when it's neatly packaged in polished PR campaigns with no real-world impact. The palace can't manufacture authenticity. The sooner they realise this, the better. Let's strip away the royal gloss and see what's really underneath. It's clear that this Mother Nature series is a hollow performance, a spectacle designed to distract from the reality of the royal family's disconnect with the world outside their castle walls. It's a painfully transparent attempt to mimic Meghan's genuine engagement with real-world issues, but without the substance, the authenticity, or the heart. Take a moment and consider. When was the last time a royal had to worry about paying the bills? Or about the quality of the air their children breathe on the way to school? When did they last experience the daily grind of commuting, or the struggle of making ends meet in an economy that's increasingly hostile to the average citizen? The answer, quite simply, is never. This series is a prime example of the royal family's tone-deaf approach to public engagement. It's all well and good to talk about the beauty of nature when you're strolling through your private estate. But what about those who live in concrete jungles, far removed from the lush landscapes of the Scottish Highlands? What about those who are on the front line of climate change, battling its devastating impacts every day? Princess Catherine's attempt to appear in touch only underscores the chasm between her world and ours. It's a stark reminder of the privilege she enjoys, a privilege that blinds her to the struggles of ordinary people. This isn't relatability. It's the exploitation of serious issues for personal gain. And let's not forget the bitter irony of it all. The very same media that vilified Meghan for her outspokenness is now championing Catherine's pale imitation. It's a double standard that reveals the deep-rooted biases of the palace and the press. This wasn't a campaign. It was a glossy photo shoot pretending to be meaningful. It was a privileged woman reciting lines about the beauty of nature while ignoring the ugly truths faced by the very people she's meant to inspire. It's high time the royal family faced the reality of their irrelevance. And it's high time we stop letting them get away with these hollow performances. So, what's the final verdict on this royal spectacle? It's quite clear. This was not a heartfelt endeavour to connect with the public or make a meaningful impact. It was a PR stunt, a poorly executed attempt at imitation that only served to underline the stark contrast between the authentic advocacy of Meghan Markle and the hollow gestures of the royal family. The Mother Nature series, with its luxury backdrop and scripted lines, was a glaring example of the disconnect between the royal family and the reality faced by many families dealing with real-world struggles. The video was not relatable, it was not inspiring, and it was certainly not original. It was a tone-deaf display of privilege and a testament to the irrelevance of the royal family in addressing the pressing issues of our time. In trying to mimic Meghan Markle's meaningful campaigns, the royal family only succeeded in highlighting their own lack of authenticity. The public saw through this charade and called it out for what it was: a failed attempt at rebranding, at appearing modern, relatable, and purposeful. But you can't manufacture authenticity, and this spectacle only served to reinforce that truth. And so we end on a note of disappointment, but also of hope. Hope that the public will continue to demand authenticity and relevance from those in positions of influence. Let us know in the comments how tone-deaf you found this. This is Celebrity Scoop, where we don't do fairy tales, we do facts.